Day.
Just work. Nothing special. It's busy day. How about you? Are you off?
I'm off tomorrow. Actually, we're supposed to get some Wisconsin weather here this weekend.
Oh yeah. How cold is it gonna be? 20.
It might get in the low 20s. Yeah.
Oh my.
Get in the 20s. Yeah. Yep. 20s. Not tree exploding weather like you're having, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to snow and ice. And see, in the south here, we don't get just the snow.
Right.
It's weird. We'll get ice, a layer of ice underneath, and then it might snow on top of it.
Sure.
Which just makes it terrible. Or
Oh yeah.
get
Absolutely.
ice, which is even terribler. If that's even.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is now.
And and the thing is, and we're in East Tennessee. We're in the valley.
Yeah.
Knoxville, just south of Knoxville. So there's mountains on to the west of us and mountains to the east of us.
Okay.
We're in this valley. Well, any weather we have that comes from the west, what it does, and since I was a kid, I woke up many a morning, Delaney, they're saying, snow. Get ready for no school tomorrow. It's going to be canceled. Snowmageddon. Buy your milk and bread.
Yeah.
Get ready. Wake up in the morning, not a flake of snow on the ground. Because what this weather does, it comes from Nashville from the west, and it hits that plateau in that mountain range, and it pushes it north and just totally dodges us. Any snow
Sure.
we get generally will come from the southwest up through the bottom of the valley, through Alabama, and
Okay.
come up through Georgia, and come
That
up
makes
that
sense.
way through the valley, coming from the south. Anything
Sure.
coming from the west is a crapshoot,
That's-
and they don't know. It started off at like 1.5 to 2 feet of snow early in the week we were going to get, which
Good
is
grief.
that snow kills people around here, right?
Oh,
We're
it
not
would be a
prepared.
problem here, frankly, but nevertheless, not there. It's like it might as well like 12 feet.
Yeah, right. And then as the week went on, it kept going and kind of and then now today it's kind of the latest I've seen is it's starting to push north, and now we're going to be in that snow slash ice slash maybe rain depending on the cold air and how the front pushes and all that. And it never fails. If it comes from the west, they can't predict it. I would not be a meteorologist. I would be a meteorologist where Kyle lives out in San Diego.
Yes, that's easy, right?
Sunny
nice
75.
today.
I'll see you next
Yeah,
month.
that's right, exactly, right. Might be a little chilly. You might need a light jacket by
Yeah.
in January 20th.
Right. Yep.
At 9 p.m. You're gonna need a light jacket. Might be 50.
Out there when it rains, it's like 2 feet of snow here when it rains out in San Diego.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they
It's
really
just
get rain.
bananas. So
They really get rain. Yeah,
we'll
it's
see how it goes.
we've getting snow like every freaking day almost. Not literally every day, but like every other day. There's sometimes just a sprinkle. Sometimes it's like today we got a couple inches. Like it's just over and over and over. Like I just soon
Right.
get 2 feet and be done with it. And just I can show my driveway once rather
Every
than
day.
every other day. Yeah, every day. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then minus 20, minus 40 degrees wind chill Friday, Saturday. So I guess I won't be doing any hiking or anything outside. You
Why
get-
not?
well,
Layers. I've heard layers work.
layers
Dress in
work.
layers.
Yeah, you can dress in layers, but you have no skin exposed. Your eyeballs will freeze in 10 minutes. I don't think it's probably worth it.
Be like Audrey in a Christmas Vacation, where her eyes are frozen.
Frozen.
she can't talk. She can't see anything. Clark, her eyes are frozen.
Yeah, maybe I should just go to the Y. I have to go to the YMCA instead of
Walk on the
hitting
treadmill.
the
with
trails.
75.
Yes,
that's
right.
not a bad
push out
backup
a little
plan.
bit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, I suppose we should probably talk sports. This is what we do. We talk college football. I mean, people by now, this is Hell If We Know podcast. That's Chris Norton. I am Brian Dulaney, and we talk college football. And this is, I guess, the end. This is the
Bittersweet.
of college football
just
game
bitter.
discussion. Right. Yeah. No, there's no
Right.
sweet to it. No, just
No.
bitter.
No, what am I thinking?
Bitter and bitter. Yeah. So, we like I said, we started this show as a college football centric podcast, and that's who we are. That's who we'll continue to be. And obviously, games are the ones that we talk most about because we do gambling stuff and previews and reviews and whatever. And that's obviously coming to an end, but there's still so many things college football wise to talk about that we could fill up probably the rest of the from between now and August if we wanted to. Certainly some things like the transfer portal, NIL, and suing kids and all kinds of stuff. So we'll get into like this is we can get
It's
into the
getting
ugly
crazy out
stuff.
there.
Yeah, this is getting the ugly stuff. This is the fun stuff. The why we do this stuff is what we're going to review. So obviously the national title game was played on Monday night. Yeah, Monday night, the national championship game, um, which is a whole nother conversation to have, I suppose. Let's just bring it up. Indiana. By the way, folks, this is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, at about 9:30 Eastern time, and what you're seeing on your screen is correct. The Indiana Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 in the national championship game to have Indiana goes 16-0. Only second time anyone ever's done that. Last team was like a Yale team in the late 1890s. So it's been a minute. And I mean, there's so many avenues to talk about. I guess we just talk about the game and then some of the like, I can't believe this kind of things. And this is weird. Oh, did you know this kind of stats and that kind of thing afterwards? So we'll start with, I guess we should start with our preview and what we thought was going to happen. We both thought, Indiana's probably going to win this. We both picked Indiana to win this. We picked Indiana to cover the what was it,
No, we picked
seven
Miami.
and a half?
No, I
Or
picked.
my
It was
you?
mine.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I
that's
took
right.
Miami in the points because we got it
Points,
at eight and a
yes.
half or 7.5, something like
That's
that.
right. That's right. That's right. And the over under, we picked the under, which was 47 and a half.
47 and a half.
Seven
Do
and a
the
half.
math there, people. Look up there.
Yeah.
Do that math. Tell me that's not a heartbreaker.
And it's so the margin on that is as simple as a false start. And the
Exactly
reason I
right.
say that is Indiana had the ball. It's 24-21. All they need is one more first down and they can put the game away. They're at the Miami 20-ish yard line, something like that. It's 3rd and 1, and their All-American guard decides to pick that time of any time of his whole career to do a false start, which put them back 5 yards. So it's then 3rd and 6. They don't get it on 3rd down, so they kick the field goal. That's the difference in why we're not retired today. And
yeah. Yeah.
a false start on a 6th-year senior is the difference in the over-under. Like, this is why either you love betting or you just don't do it because it's so disappointing, because you love that thrill of that thin margin and this little stupid things like this that either turn into a bad beat or an awesome win, right? Well, for us, it
For
was kind of a
us,
bad beat.
that was a
Yeah.
$92 false start. Is what that was.
That's
It
a
was a
great way to put it.
$92 false start. That's what it was. $92 to win. We bet 50. Return was 40 something bucks. $92 and some change was the return. If that don't happen, Miami had one timeout, so they pick up the first down. Maybe
It's
Miami
over.
takes another timeout. You nail
Yeah,
on the
but
ball 3 times or 2 times,
Yeah.
ball game's done. That's it.
it's over.
Yep.
Statistically, it would have been
Yeah.
over.
Well, you're not going to kick a field goal then because
No,
you're
there's
not
no
going to
need
risk
to.
that.
There's
Yeah,
no
you
need
just
to.
nail the
Right.
ball and you're
Yeah.
out of there. And
You don't
and
do what
that's
Mario
it.
Cristobal did last year and run the ball against Georgia Tech, fumble the ball. I think it was Georgia Tech, and then losing the game when they could have taken a knee. Yeah. So that's the gambling piece, part of the gambling piece of it. So Indiana, I mean, I'm still trying to process this honestly, as this is my high level thoughts on this game. I'm still trying to process and come to grips with Indiana, not basketball, the football team, who is historically one of the worst, if not the worst program in college football history. In 2 years with Cignetti as a coach, turn it around. A playoff game last year and then a national title, undefeated 16-0 season, which no one's done for, since 17th century, basically. Um, we I just it's or 19th century. It's so amazing. Um, I can't. I just can't get over. And they're playing a Miami team that was absolutely worthy to be there. I think like there was this hesitation about, well, should they be in? Should they not be in? They lost a couple games. They weren't in their conference championship game. Thankfully for them, their first game of the year they played and beat a very good Notre Dame team, which was the difference, and they propelled that into a win on the road at Kyle Field. Then they beat Ohio State, and they beat an Ole Miss team that took them to the wire, and then they take Indiana to the wire as well. And even though Indiana, for stretches of that game, Miami could not do anything, and it was like, this is going to end up like 24 to nothing. Indiana.
Felt that way. It didn't. It
It's
felt
like
that
it
way.
just felt. It was 10-0. It felt like it might as well be 30 to nothing at halftime. Um, but Miami's just sort of like hanging in there and hanging in there, and they did the things that we talked about. And what did we talk about? How does Miami win this game? Well, Miami wins this game by not making Carson Beck be a hero and running Mark Fletcher at least 25 times. And of course, getting the ball to Malachi Tony. And the most important thing I thought was Mesidor and Bain have to be first round picks. They can't be have an off night. And I'll be damned if they didn't do that and then
Yeah,
some with the other guys across that front line and made Mendoza pretty miserable for 4 quarters. Hit him hard, including on the first drive 2 or 3 times where it's like Signetti was looking for personal foul and or targeting on some of those hits, and
I don't
target or
disagree
not,
with
but like
Signetti. Yeah,
he took some shots. Let's put it like that. That's the bare minimum we can say. He took some huge shots and throughout the game took some sacks. That defensive front was so dominant, and it's just something that Indiana hadn't seen all year, other than perhaps Ohio State. And this is another level above Ohio State because they have these freakish ends this year that Ohio State just didn't kind of have this year. They had some nice players on the defensive line, really good, obviously, but not these like this kid's a top 10 pick. This kid's a first round pick, kind of thing. Um, so they're hanging in there, and but Miami just couldn't quite get over the hump. And then, um, well, they just didn't do what we said they should do, right? And if you're a Miami fan, you got to be frustrated on a number of levels.
yep.
One, you had a couple of costly penalties that were problematic, which is sort of emblematic a little bit of who you are as a program, right? They failed to run Mark Fletcher enough, I still think. I mean,
I'm with you.
he only had 17 carries, and he had one catch? Yeah, one catch. And they put the ball in Beck's hands so many times, and it was just like, what are you doing? Like, they got impatient, I think, with only getting a couple yards and sometimes no yards with Fletcher. But then you said it last week. This dude, like, the more carries he gets, the better he looks. Like, he just needs to get revved up, right? And then next thing you know, he's got a 57-yard touchdown that just blows by anybody on Indiana. And you got to think if you're an Indiana fan, like or a Miami fan, if we done that more, like 10 times more, 10 more runs like that, how many of those would have been explosive plays? Maybe 0, but there could well been more, not necessarily 50-yard touchdown, but like big plays, put them in field goal range, get them closer for a Tony touchdown, something like that. Like, and they didn't do that, right? They did the things we said they did. They got to get pressure with the front four. They put the ball in Beck's hands, and then they didn't run Fletcher. Like 1 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess. And that's not even
No,
like their
and
coaching, right? Like I'm still a little bit of a loss for one, that how Indiana is the champion, and two, like how Miami, like no one scouted Miami more, I hope, than Miami, and they still didn't understand what they had in Mark Fletcher. I
and
mean, is that crazy? I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it much, but this kid is so good, and you underused him. Like, you didn't use him
yeah,
enough.
I think it was almost like they were out coaching themselves in that let's let Beck throw it more because they think we're going to run Fletcher. because all week long for the 10 days
Yeah.
you heard everyone, ourselves included, talking about how the Miami offensive line is the best offensive line they've probably seen all year. They outweigh him
Yep.
by 53 pounds a person across the line. You line up power and you pound Fletcher at him, and you pound Fletcher, and then whenever he's tired, you run him again. And that's what. And 10 days of hearing that, and it's like Miami said, well, they know that too. Let's let Beck throw it
Watch
32
this.
times,
Right. Yeah. What we
And
say, if Beck throws it 40 times, they lose. I
we
mean, we
sure
weren't
did.
far off from that.
We said in the show, and I think I posted this on the clip, is
Yeah.
if if Beck throws it, the more attempts Beck has, the less chance Miami has a chance to win it. That
And
the farther the number goes up, the lower the percentage drops for them to win. And
mhm.
if he throw it 30 times, I said Miami's in big trouble if they throw it 30
Yeah.
times. They throw it 32, and it just I don't get either, Delaney. I don't know. These guys get paid millions of dollars. They, like you said, they
Right.
self scout, they do all these
Oh.
things, and just they just wasn't. And even Herb Street alluded to it on the broadcast about
Mhm.
how the Miami offensive coordinator gets impatient with the run game. Even
Yes.
Herb Street said it. So we're not we're just two guys on here talking college football with,
Right.
and we can look at it and see it, and Herb
Right.
Street can look at it and see it, but apparently the Miami coaching staff totally don't see anything about that.
Yeah.
It's all fine,
And
guys. We got it.
yeah, and that's why I made that comment about I hope they're self-scouting, right? They
Right.
surely have some self-scouting, right? But it's like, what are you doing with that information that you are getting from the self-scouting? Are you applying it and making changes to who you are and what you want to be? Don't be bored with success. And we found that, or just not elite success, not huge plays every time, right? And these coaches have forgot more than we know, right? But that
Yes.
doesn't mean that they're perfect. And it's okay to question these things when you see things that are seemingly obvious to yahoos like me. And then you have a guy like Herb Street, love him or not, he's seen a lot of college football. He's been
Sure
covering the
has.
sport, played the
Played it.
sport. He's been played it for several years at Ohio State. He's been covering the sport since then, about 30 years or so, something like
Yeah.
that, for
Yep.
ESPN, and it's called, hundreds of games. So he's seen this. He talks to coaches. Throughout the country from year to year, doing 13, 14, 15, 16 games, whatever he calls a year. But that didn't even include the NFL stuff as well. So
Right.
um, it's just, I just find it interesting. And, obviously Miami's, they're back, right? I mean, they had a great year, honestly. Like, they had a
For sure.
couple hiccups in
They
the middle of
des-
the year. You get to
they
the title
deserve to be
game,
there.
you had a great year.
They earned
It's
the
not
right
a
to be there
perfect year.
too.
It's a
Uh,
it's absolutely a great year, but you're just so close to to beating this Indiana, and you had a shot late, even after Indiana messed up and had to kick a field goal. You had a shot late, and then you had to put it in Beck's hands because you don't have enough time to do anything else. You can't
nope.
run Fletcher then; it's too late. It's way too late then. And so then becomes Carson Beck lost 6 games in his career as a starter. He had 4 games that were lost where he had the ball. His team had the ball, whether it's Georgia or Miami, 4 times with a chance to win. He threw an interception all 4 times. I mean, that's just sums it up. We're not making this up. Like, this is who he is. We don't want him to have to carry the team. He could make plays, absolutely help make plays to win the Ole Miss game with his legs. Like, and then so he needed to throw the ball about 22, 23 times, not 32 times. And some of those just became necessity. And the last one, I don't know if you saw, he thought he had man one on one. It was in cover 2, and he still underthrew the damn ball,
Still
even
through
if
it.
it was, he still
The
underthrew it like
DB
by
that caught that,
5 yards.
the
This
DB,
is the
the
guy
DB that caught, the DB that caught that was like he was the intended receiver.
yes, exactly. Yes,
He
it was
just
a
run
better throw to
underneath it
him.
and just and catches it.
Right.
And I,
I
I
don't
said, and
I don't know if he I don't know for sure. I didn't see anybody say for sure, but if that corner was supposed to if he's supposed to have flat coverage as well, and the safety over the top is supposed to take. I don't know. It's just it's hard because Beck threw it right to the corner or the nickel or whatever it
Yes.
was. Like it's hard to know what it was supposed to. I've not seen a breakdown of that particular part of the play before, but he just obviously misread the coverage, underthrew it, and like you couldn't have made
Uh,
that play worse, short of
no.
fumbling it and handing it off, and, handing it, literally
Well,
handing it to
what
someone.
I'll work with a Georgia fan, and
Hmm.
he came in. He was happy as anybody. He was happy as any Indiana fan was,
I'm sure.
and he was like, it was golden because whenever they get the ball last, and they're talking about now is when you're glad you have a guy that's played 40 games in college, and he has got all the
Yes.
experience. And what does he do first? Delay a game to start the
Plays the
drive.
game right before out of a timeout starts a drive. You
There's
get a
Beck.
delay a game. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It's crazy.
Like
And then
it's just
he does pretty
it's
good, and they get him down there. He makes a couple good
yeah, a
throws
couple
or
plays.
whatever.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
just
He had a couple
he's
nice throws. Yeah.
he is, but he's not. He's never going to string those together over the course of a game.
No.
You let him throw the
No.
ball that much, he's going to throw it to the other team, especially when as the pressure ratchets it up. He just and there's countless quarterbacks throughout history that have done that. Whenever the
Oh,
moment is the
of course.
biggest, they fold and they throw it to the other team or they do something. Just like on the other side, there's quarterbacks that every time there is a game to be won, they're the guys that go up there and win it. And then there's a
Right.
bunch in the middle, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Um, but that's just back now. Talking about the game, Miami, they helped Indiana score a few points, a touchdown. I know by getting a offsides whenever they just Miami or Indiana runs a draw, just concede the drive,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
they get offsides, goes to like 3rd and 3 or 5 or whatever it was. They run the ball and they get it, and then
Yep.
they get a face mask in an extended drive on 3rd down.
Yes. Yep.
They
Yep.
do all those
On third
penalties.
and
The guy's running straight at the punter to block him, and the guy that's there,
uh
87, I don't know who it was, is in there
yeah,
blocking,
tight
and he
end
just reaches out with both hands and barely
blocking.
pushes the dude, and he blocks. They do all that, and they still have the football at the end of the game with a chance to win it.
Right. Exactly.
That's how close they were. And Miami played one game in the whole playoffs mistake free, and that was Ohio State. They
Right.
never duplicated that
Like,
again in the whole
mm-mm.
playoff. They were always who they
Yep.
were, fifth overall, the fifth worst team penalized in the country all year. You
Yes.
don't
Right.
just shake that
Right.
off in a playoff or in a game. You
No, that
are
doesn't
what you
stop
are.
at the yeah. That starts
It
in July, August, fall
yes,
camp,
right.
whatever.
And I said, and yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I have money on the line,
Right,
but
same.
not necessarily. I'm not pulling for either team. It was impressive to watch Indiana. It's just
Yes.
if I was a Miami fan, I would be so frustrated, like you've been saying, because if you just play a halfway clean game and you make a block
Yeah.
that you're supposed to make on a blocker from Indiana on that punt, you may win this football game. You
Right.
may very well have won it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the Stones on Signetti to go for it on 4th down and run the QB
Uh,
sneak because he suspected
uh,
Miami would be all out pass rush
uh,
for the second time in a row,
yeah.
and he just nailed it. I mean,
Yep.
that play when Mendoza is older or whatever he does, that play is going to be played in Heisman highlights
Oh,
forever.
it's an iconic play.
It sure is.
That's a in 50 years, and they're doing an ESPN or whatever the app is then, sports highlights from the previous 50 years. That will be one of those plays, right? The Heisman winner made this play on 4th and 5 to essentially win the title for his Indiana team, who were historically terrible. Who knows what they'll be like in 50 years? Maybe Indiana will be Alabama of the 20s, 2010s.
uh, and for and I don't know if people realize this. First non-blowout in a national championship game since Bama in Georgia back in like 22, 21, 22,
20,
something like that.
yeah, that'd be 20. Yeah, which one? I
Georgia
remember.
blew out
Yeah,
TCU
absolutely.
one
Yep.
year, and then they
Yes,
barely
that
beat
was the
Bama. Maybe that was
21.
for the
Yep.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
that was the 21 year. Yep. And then
it,
22 would have been that year. Yeah, because Michigan
it
beat
kind of
Washington 34-13, something like
yes.
that. So that wasn't, there was just some late scores to kind of really ice it. But yeah, this one was like opportunity to win the game with the ball late, and
Right.
we haven't seen that for a while. Yeah.
It game. You know what it reminded me of watching it, and it's crazy because I go back this far, but it reminded me of the 2005 Texas USC game. And the
Absolutely.
reason
I hadn't thought about that until you started saying that, actually. Yeah.
the reason it reminds me of that is all the stars made plays on both sides and but for both teams.
Yep.
You've watched these national championship games for the last 3 or 4 years. It was all one sided. And even the Bama Georgia game, if you remember that game, that wasn't a blowout. That game was without John Minchie and without Jamison Williams. So they didn't even have their stars on the
Yes.
field to make those
Right.
plays. And so I go all the way back to the '05 Texas USC, where both sides, their superstars, made superstar plays for the whole game, and then Texas just had one more play and
Right.
won it. And I mean, Mendoza was great. Surratt was okay. He had a couple of
Yeah,
drops,
he
bad
was a little
drops.
quiet. Yeah, he was
Yep.
quiet. Yeah, he had a couple. Yeah,
Becker does
it's
what
his
Becker
worst game.
does, which is
It's
insane.
just balls,
From Middle
balls
Tennessee, by the
out.
way.
Yes, right. As a kid, you would have
Yeah,
liked to have on that.
right. Fletcher
Tennessee team.
done his thing. Malachi Tony done his thing.
Absolutely. My kid. Yes.
Those ends for Miami did their thing. Pons done his thing for Indiana.
Yes.
That corner, knocking that ball out of the
Yes.
tight end's hands, launching
Yes.
himself up there, knocking that ball.
Yes. What a
All
hit.
the
Yep.
superstars for both teams made huge plays. It was just fun to watch that kind of game where both teams'
Yeah.
guys was making plays and all out on the field, and just it wasn't necessarily back and forth. Miami, Indiana felt kind of in control, but you just was kind of waiting if
They
they could just
did.
get a
Right.
break. If they could just get a
Right.
break, they could win this game. And Indiana never allowed
Absolutely.
it to happen. But if they could just get one
Mm-mm.
break, because they give Indiana several breaks, if they could just get one
Absolutely,
their
they did.
way, they could steal this game, and they would have stole it. Make no mistake, if Miami would have pulled that off, they stole that game. If
Absolutely.
they could have just
Yes.
got a
Absolutely.
break, and Indiana was not going to allow them to get a break. It's
No,
testament
because
to
they
them.
don't beat themselves. They just
Mm-mm.
don't do that. They had 0 turnovers in the playoffs. 0. And they don't make, well, they made one timely, for our betting purposes, penalty
False
on this
start.
game. And if I'll start, they've had a few penalties here and there, but like they just don't beat themselves. And when you mess up and your tight end on punt block or punt return doesn't block the guy off the right edge, that leads to 7 points, and that's a difference in the game now. And
Yeah,
also, so Miami's special teams, we didn't talk about them yet. A doink field goal and a
right.
punt block touchdown. I mean, it, you're right there. You have
It's a
this
third of the
game.
game.
Yes, absolutely. And so Indiana averages 42 points a game, so give or take. They only, you take away the 7 from the punt block.
Yep.
Indiana or Miami's defense did what they're supposed to do. They held them to
Yes.
half of
20
what they're
points.
supposed to do. Right? They got
Absolutely.
sacks on Mendoza. They forced bad throws. They mostly kept the wide receivers in check. I mean, Cooper and Becker had some plays, which this because of money on 3rd down, 4th down.
Right.
But by and large, they held Indiana to like not a terrible, not great 3rd down conversion. They did what they need to do defensively. I think this is an offensive L for Miami. They needed to just be better, and we said they not have to be perfect, but they got to be close to perfect to win this game. And Miami was not that. They just bad penalties, bad interception, bad play calling. That's just pretty general, but not going to your horse. Right. The only thing they did well is get the ball to Tony 10 times.
Right.
That was
I'm fine
thing.
with
And
that.
side
Yeah,
note, this kid's gonna make a
I'm
lot of
for
money
that.
the next 15 years or so.
Yes, he is. The
Good
NFL guys
grief!
cannot wait to get their hands on that kid.
Oh, someone's already figuring out if he can he go out next year somehow. If we can get this thing so we can say some kids can come out now, right? Because if
Uh,
you're the Raiders, wouldn't you want to take him right now rather than anybody else? The first
absolutely.
pick of the draft next year.
Talk about Indiana
I
not
don't
beating
care. Yes,
themselves. Here's
17.
your one. They lost one fumble all year during the first quarter of the first game of the year.
First
They
game.
never fumbled again the rest of the year.
Yep. I
That
mean,
is
when you do that, you win all your games. You put yourself in a position to win all your games when you don't lose you don't lose but one fumble. Excuse me, the entire year in game 1. the first play of the game on Indiana on defense. They gave up like a 60-yard touchdown. I mean, there's a couple of plays that first game where if you're watching them, like, wow, well, Indiana's back to where they're used to being, right? And then they just beat the piss out of everybody by and large.
Uh-huh.
Go to Eugene and win, figure out a way to win. And incredible play. That's also a play. It's an iconic play from this season. The catch by Cooper and then the back of the end zone of Penn State. They destroy Alabama in the Rose Bowl. They beat Ohio State. They hammer Oregon. It's like they just obliterated the whole college football playoff until this game. And we said the only thing I was sure of was this wasn't going to be a blowout. I just feel like Miami's defense was too good to keep that from Indiana from going nuts, scoring 50 points, whatever.
Right. No, it
And
was never going to be that.
was true, right? No, I was true. And I said, if you go back to the tape, I felt really good about our under picks and Indiana covering that 7.5 or whatever it was. And
Or Miami
I'll be
covering.
damned if, or Miami covered
Yep.
that 7.5. And I'll be damned if we were right there and just false start.
Yeah, a $92 front start.
Yeah.
I think it was the second drive or the third drive for Miami. I don't remember which one it was. They never handed it to Fletcher, and even Herb Street mentioned that too.
Mm-mm.
It's like you go out and you go 3 straight passes. It's
Right.
it really it defies logic. Looking at that right there, Black and Hemby had 17 and 19 carries respectively. Right. Fletcher
right,
had 17. The next closest guy had 3. Brown had 3.
Right.
They run the ball 36 times for 139 yards. Him being Black.
Him being Black.
That's
Yep.
commitment
Yep.
to the run. That's against the Miami
not,
defense.
right.
That front seven is elite, and they committed to pounding it in there because they knew that's where they're going to control the game and lean on Miami and try to get them. And on the other side, I don't like running from the shotgun. I don't like that. If I'm gonna run at a team, if I'm bigger than them, I'm gonna line up under center, get Fletcher going downhill, and I'm gonna smash. I'm gonna just off tackle, stretch. He scored on the stretch play.
Yes,
runs around,
stretch, right?
blocked up great. And I'm gonna feed him and feed him and feed him, and I'm gonna be bullish. It's like as soon as he got stopped for no gain on a play,
they're like, well, we're done. I guess we can't do this anymore. Yep, let's throw the ball.
This drive, I guess we're going to lean on back now.
What happened?
Yes.
I'd been better off if they just ran the ball 3 times for 9 yards and punt.
Be bullish about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get comfortable. Like they couldn't settle. Like they're always looking for this big play from which came via the run, not the pass. I mean, Tony had that incredible play, but that's one out of the rest of them. There's a couple other plays that they were made. And Daniel, Beck had a couple nice plays, one to Daniels and a couple to Tony, right? So, but like those are great, but it's the clock's ticking to when that mistake's going to come. It's going to either come early or come late or both, perhaps. And it came late, and that was the end. That sums it up. And
like,
if you're Miami, go ahead, sir.
You're good. It's not like Beck had a bad game.
No,
he had a good game. He just when the moment was when the lights are the brightest and the moment is the biggest, Carson Beck is not going to deliver. He's just not. Every Georgia fan knows it. That's why they were A-okay whenever Stockton took over after his elbow injury and he went on to Miami. They were A-okay with that because they had seen that happen several times too. So they knew who he was. And he's been like that at Miami too. And then whenever it's time to win, he's just not the guy to have the ball in his hands. He's just not. And and the kid's a good quarterback. As far as overall, he's a good quarterback. He's fine. He's got the arm. He can make the throws. He hadn't been in school for 2 years.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole other conversation.
He hadn't been in a class for 2 years. So you have nothing to do but study football, throw the football, practice, study tape, find out what you do good, bad, and ugly, whatever, fix it, get better. He's the same quarterback now as he was at Georgia when he left. The
Absolutely,
same
absolutely
exact
was
quarterback, except with way more
right.
money now. He has way more money and probably a hotter
Yes,
girlfriend. Other than
I was
that,
just saying
he's the
he's just
same
living
guy.
in South Beach.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
he's got a better
but he's the
South Beach
same
apartment than
person.
he does in Athens.
No
Yes,
way you draft
yeah,
him.
he is.
No way you draft him.
No, it's what
You
are you? What
you
are
get him
you?
in
Why
your
would you
camp
do
as a
that?
free agent
That's
and see
nuts.
what he does,
Yes, and just
but
start
you're
the
not
squad.
drafting
Maybe
him.
I don't know.
No way.
No. You just be you'd be better off just trying to grab a fullback or something like that. That might be useful in special teams. You know, it's,
So talking
yeah, that's
about
absolutely.
Miami, if coming into this game, if I would have told you
Hmm.
Fletcher's going to run for 112 yards and get 2 touchdowns, Tony's going to receive 110 yards, score a touchdown, Miami is going to average 6.5 yards a play compared to 4.4 for Indiana. Miami's going to
That's
have 3
huge.
sacks and 6 tackles for loss. Indiana had 1 of each. And Mendoza's going to throw for less than 200 yards. He's going to throw for 186. That
Yeah,
screams Miami
yeah.
win, right?
Absolutely. We said if you look at the box score, we could tell you who won this game probably. Well, we would have been dead damn wrong because we would have said Miami won that game based on the box score. The yards for play alone is significant.
The
That
only thing that
difference.
would have given away is the 32 next to Beck in attempts and the only 17 for Mark Fletcher.
Yes.
That would have been the only 2 numbers we looked at like,
Yes.
I don't like
Yes.
that.
Yeah. If you take those out, we would have been but
Yeah.
we said that like if the box score says
Uh,
he has the ball less than 25 times and Beck's over 30, whatever we said, then Miami's the odds are don't just that's
yeah.
way down. It just is like it's that's just who they are, and they don't understand that. I don't tell you, Miami, like this. Sorry, this is who you are. Either embrace it and understand your limitations, or you put your quarterback, who's okay, in a position to have to win the game and make plays, and that's just not who he is. And if you don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like you're not going to come back here again if you're going to play like that and not kind of lean on Fletcher, which who's going to come back a year next year. They're going to have a loaded team again next year,
Yeah, they
on
are.
offense at least. I don't know. Well,
Mm-hmm.
quarterback wise, I'm not sure, but like Fletcher's back, Tony's of course back. I think Daniels might be a junior, I forget, but they have some dudes, right? So yeah, it's I don't know much more what else we can say. Like just that what an incredible run Indiana had. Not that it's over, but like the season in particular. And they just don't strike me as like one hit wonder. I'm not predicting they're going to
No,
win a title again next year, but
I was sitting Eddie there.
they'll be in the hunt forever as long as he's there because they do all the little things. It's important to them to do the little things, be very detail oriented, almost to a point of probably madness and sickness, but that's what leads you to 16-0 and a title. Then it's worth it to do that extra rep in the weight room. It's worth it to watch 10 more minutes of game film, whatever that is. That they make sure your practices are 30, 45 minutes and you're getting as much as you can out of that 35, 40 minutes, not doing a 2-hour practice just to have a 2-hour practice when there's like guys loafing around,
Right.
there's chit chat, is just not efficient. Like everything they do is very detail oriented and it shows when they play. And when you have a quarterback who is very bright, he's got a great arm, makes good decisions, he's big and he can take shots and it's you have pieces that fit who you are and you know who you are, you don't try to be someone else. It leads to where Indiana's right now. And like the rest of the teams in the Big Ten, for example, Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, what are yours? What's your excuse now? Right?
For Big Ten for Big Ten fans like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
this is hard to wrap your brain around. Indiana winning the national championship. So for us
Yes.
SEC fans,
Yeah.
it's equivalent. It's equivalent of Mississippi State winning it. Is what it is.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you have to understand what it is. That puts it in perspective for someone like me that grew up in the South and SEC. It's like Mississippi State winning
Sure.
it, or South Carolina maybe, or
or
someone like that. That's just
Vanderbilt or something. Yeah,
yeah, just someone that like
doormat.
they're right. You don't. They have a good year every now and then, but overall they're just not a winning program. You can always put it as a W
Right.
most years. Some years they might get you, but overall you're going to win those games majority of the time. That's what it's like for SEC fans. It's like if Mississippi State goes in next year and goes 16-0, whatever it is, and wins it, you're like, how what the
What
hell
the?
is happening? This
All
is
right.
this is not
Right.
right. Yeah. So I guess the question now is, Delaney, is where do you put Indiana last 20 years, 26 years, I guess, going back to 2000? Where were you putting them?
I mean, maybe part of it is the recency bias because we just watched that game, right? And it's fresh in our heads. And so, I mean, you have to put for the sheer record of 16-0, undefeated, which someone like Sark in this preseason press conference said, I don't think we're ever going to see anybody do that. Well, sorry to tell you, Sark.
Looks like Sark wrong again.
Indiana can do it. Exactly right. Wrong again. Yeah, right. Exactly. um, I that's and the people they went through to get to that, right?
Right.
Their non-conference slate was whatever. That's just they go and win a tough game at Iowa. They go and win in Eugene. They beat most people thought who was the number one team in the country for most of the year, Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. They obliterate a traditionally incredible elite program like Alabama, who is a good football team. They then hammer Oregon, even worse than that's one of the worst losses in Oregon's. Certainly under Dan Lanning, maybe the second worst. And then they go in and they do all the right things and make enough plays and do all the small things to beat a very good Miami team. I, look, one of those teams that it's hard for me to like not drop down far. And maybe this is more of like the game as that you said earlier, that 05 Texas USC game. That Texas team with Vince was so damn good, and it led to that great season. And then one of the best games in college football history. I mean, just kind of bounce around here a little bit, but the 21 Georgia team with 35 guys that are going to be in the NFL, most of
Right.
which are on defense.
Yep.
That was an all-time team just because but not a perfect team. Like you have to put Indiana up, and they're in the top minimum of 5, and then from there, like you got like Ohio State last year won a title. I had 2 losses, one of which was to a pretty poor Michigan team, right? Like
Right.
that knocks you down a peg compared to what Indiana is able to do. And
So
I
do
don't
you
know,
put them?
like who other teams like pop to your head?
Well, I pulled the list up here while you were talking about it. I just pulled up the list. So I think one thing you have to do is put them above every national champion that has a loss automatically.
Yes, yes,
Okay, because they're this year they were perfect.
fair,
They have 0 losses. So
yes, right,
I can't in good conscience say they're better than the 2007 LSU team that had 3 losses that beat Ohio State in the
right,
championship
exactly,
game. But that was a team that was like, really, you know, they you just
really, exactly.
right. So they just kind of backdoored their way in the championship game, beat Ohio State. Next thing you know, so I have a tough time putting those teams above them. Um, but I go back. 2000 was Oklahoma. That was the Josh Heupel Oklahoma team
Oklahoma, yep, Oklahoma
that had
team.
a dominant defense. I kind of like this
That was
Indiana
a
team
good team.
offensively better than that Oklahoma team.
Yeah,
That Indiana team, and I love them. They ain't beating the 0-1 Miami team.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No,
that that
that's a different. That was a different Miami era.
yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's play this game instead of comparing them to every team. Let's just go ahead and mark
Sure.
off the teams and see if we agree that are going to be above Indiana. 0-1 Miami would be above Indiana.
Yes.
2019 LSU would be above Indiana.
Probably so. What was their final
in my
record?
opinion. They were
Yeah,
something in O, but they won by like an average of so many points. It was stupid. It's like they
Burrow
would
or whatever.
Chase
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Jefferson,
Right.
and I mean
So very
that
soon. Right.
offense was
That's it. That's say no more. That's enough right there.
one of the best ones you've ever seen. The
Perhaps the
2004
best. Right.
Southern Cal team, that was Matt Leinart and Reggie
Yes.
Bush and
Leonard,
Lindell
Reggie
White.
Bush.
That team was one that defense was 1 year too late to deal with Texas. Or 1 year too early to deal with
Yep.
Texas because they went back in '05
Sure.
for Texas. So and then lost that Texas team. They were both undefeated. But that '04 USC team beat the crap out of a really good Oklahoma and Adrian Peterson led
Empathy.
Oklahoma team. Just annihilated
Yes.
those guys. So '04 USC, I'm going to put above them as well.
I can go with that.
Yeah. So '06 Florida had a loss. I can't put them, even though that team was very good.
They were very good.
So the '05 Texas team. So we're going to say they're above Indiana.
I mean, just Vince Young was just so dynamic
Yes.
and like, it's an iconic game that they played as well. Like that's for me, that's hard to ignore. In the Rose Bowl, like all the things like you could ever want in a game. Yeah, I mean it's just different because there was no Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Joe Burrow, Chase Jefferson, Adrian Peterson on this Indiana team. Not a single one of those kids were much more than a
No.
3-star. You know what I mean? Like it's different, and that's sort of like that's an impressive feat in itself.
Okay.
Which, like all this stuff is hard to do with like you know 25 years apart, but
For
it's an
sure.
interesting exercise. Yeah. What's the next one?
I got you one. How about the Cam Newton 2010 Auburn team?
That was a damn good team. Yeah. I.
Undefeated?
It's just the one thing yeah, the one thing I go back to is just Indiana was just so balanced on all three phases, and just they played elite, skilled, mistake-free football, and that's in itself hard to do, and it led to this. That's why they're 16-0, right? I mean, they didn't
Right.
they didn't have Cam Newton to do cartwheels and jump flips and all kinds of stuff to win a title for them. They had to just earn it with every play and with every practice rep that made sense or whatever made a difference. I mean, now we're like you've rattled off 4 or 5
That's
teams there.
that's four we
You
put
know, like
above them. I think that's close. Okay.
right.
2002 Ohio State, Maurice Claret. And that Ohio State
That was
team
the
was
team who
undefeated.
beat Miami. Yes, it was. Um, that was with Craig Krenzel as the quarterback, so I like
Huh?
Mendoza's
That's right. Yeah,
quarterback-wise, but
exactly. That's where I draw the
yeah,
line
like
right there. Is Krenzel the quarterback? He was Trent Dilfer esque.
he's
Just
exactly Trent Dilfer, exactly.
elite
He was Trent
around him, but
Dilfer. Just
yeah.
managed. Yep. Throw the ball to Kid again, hand the ball off to Claret, and yeah, let the defense cook. Yeah, I'd say I'd keep Indiana ahead of over that team. Just well, you got a Heisman Trophy winner out of it, and elite quarterback play and historic plays from him. Although, you could say that that was a pretty historic game as far as the finish there too.
The '09 Bama team, Saban's first national champion, had that one had all. He won the Heisman.
That had
Not Derrick
um
Henry. Mark Ingram
no,
had
it's
Mark Ingram on it.
Mark Ingram. Yeah, Mark Ingram.
Yep, Mark Ingram.
Yes.
AJ McCarron, I think, or someone like that was the quarterback. They beat
Um.
a Texas team that Colt McCoy got hurt early in that Rose Bowl, and then Alabama wound up
Yep.
rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I
we're at
tell you what.
6.
Yeah. So here's the thing with this one. I don't know that and this is a hot take, and maybe this is just my SEC bias bursting out of me, but I didn't put any of the other SEC teams ahead of them
So
besides that 19 LSU team. I believe that
right.
one. Any of the
Yeah,
Nick
yeah, I think
Saban
most people
Alabama
agree.
teams, the '09, the 11, the 12, and the 15, and the 17, all those Alabama teams were elite football teams. Every single one of them
Yes, right,
was undefeated or a loss. That's it, one loss. The Alabama
right.
team I think it was, I don't know if it was 11 or 12. One of those, they beat the living dog shit out of a Notre Dame team that was pretty good that year.
Yes, it was
And
well, it was 12.
Mateo,
It was 12. Yes,
yeah, in 12, that
yes,
team was
exactly. That was 12.
undefeated. That had
Yep.
Derrick Henry. So you got to stop that guy if you're Indiana. Okay. Good
Right,
luck.
exactly. Which no one's still not doing that. Yeah, right.
Nope. They beat Clemson in 15. Or no, they beat them in 17. It's one of those. I forget which one it was. They beat Clemson and
17,
Deshaun Watson, and then they lost to
17 or
Clemson.
18.
Yeah.
The next was 18. Like, those all kind of run
Yeah.
together a little bit.
Now there's right because there's so many Alabama championships in there. One of those, I think it might have been
Right,
12
exactly. Right.
or 15. One of those had the Mac Jones team that was okay, but I mean,
That'd
well, I
have
say
been
okay.
that.
They were
That would have
elite, but it
been
was Mac Jones. But the defense wasn't
15.
very good that year. Yeah, but they still had Derrick
No, right,
Henry.
for Alabama. Yes,
Yeah,
that would have been 15, I think. Then, right?
yeah.
Must have been.
All right. Say 2000 and I guess it would have been 16. Deshaun Watson Clemson team that went undefeated and beat Alabama.
Clemson. That was a pretty damn good
Right.
team.
That was a tough one. But I guess my hot take was
Man,
any of those Alabama teams coached by Nick Saban and those 5 or 6 championships they won in
and
there, they were just loaded with NFL talent, and they were NFL. Now, one thing that's different,
yes,
NIL. But that's pre
yes.
NIL.
That's why it's like
Whenever
it's
that
hard to
a guy,
exactly.
yes, a guy goes out, you just reload your 5-star and off you go. Not that way
Yeah,
anymore.
in the same game. No, it's not
Right?
happening anymore.
Yes. No, same game. Yeah, it didn't
Yeah, it's
matter.
like you have to separate the eras, like
I think you're
pre
right.
NIL and post NIL. Like
Your
it's
23
just so
Michigan team.
different. Like they're uh, that's one of the best defenses of all time. A solid, the good offense, one of the best elite defense team with elite. They have dudes on that team that are playing NFL, first round draft picks at tackle,
Yes.
defensive tackle. Like that was an insane defensive team. Um,
So I'm feeling like we're putting them in the middle of the pack in the last 26 years.
yeah, yeah, I think that's
I think we are.
say top 10 for safe, right around then.
Could make that argument.
Yeah, give or take. Right. But it's just so hard. Like if you go back, I mean, so like the problem is that it keeps getting more difficult to compare apples to apples because next year might be a 12. And then
Right.
stupid Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, wants to get 24. What are we doing here?
That's
We
dumb.
don't. What are we just
That's
going
so stupid.
64 eventually? It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Stop at 12 or 16. Whatever. That's fine. But just we don't need 24 teams in there. That's just not necessary. Like it's going to get watered down. It's going to make the regular
It's great for
season
us
less
though.
important than it. Then it's great. Look, it is absolutely selfishly. It's great for
It's great for
gamblers.
us.
It's great for
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
But you can do that differently and not need 24 teams. You can just have more matchups during the regular season that has Tennessee, Michigan playing in a bowl game and whatever,
Right.
or whatever I talk about. Like it's got to be on campus. The hell with that bowl game stuff. It's got to be on campus. Other than the title game's going to be in the Rose Bowl, every other game should be. I don't give a shit. It can have the
On campus.
Cheeses Bowl, but it's not going to be a playoff bowl, right? Exactly, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can have Cheeses Bowl on campus. Yeah, I just look. Does the bowls themselves, the ones that just regular bowls? I mean, I can't say they never go away because there was some ratings increase this year, right? I mean, to some degree, they're still doing okay. Some games. Um, Yeah, there's a way to do it without having to go to 24 teams and still make the regular season important. Get rid of the conference title game. That's fine with that. Like, you know,
Yeah. I don't need that anymore.
that that's become it's become so worthless that it's not worth, having those, right? Because yeah, it's making it it's just so watered down. They don't really matter. And This not the same anymore. That's okay. Doesn't have to be the same. Nothing's the same in college football. Nothing's the same. So it's okay if we eliminate two things. I think the conference title games, and you can only wear white on the road. You can wear home your home uniforms on the road now too if you want to.
Now,
Those are two things we're going to change.
talking about conference championship games. If you want to still argue for conference championship games, I will direct you to the ACC championship game this year. That is proof
Yes.
positive that game means nothing, because the team that was left out of that finished third was a punt block away and a couple of offsides and a face mask from winning the national championship Monday night.
Yes, right.
That's it.
Exactly.
And it did nothing for Alabama.
Right.
You still put out. You watched Alabama take a beating, 28-7, and you still put them in, only to watch them take an even worse beating to an Indiana team in the Rose Bowl.
Right. Yes.
So it means.
By the way, someone voted them to increase. I don't know what poll it was, but they jumped up a couple spots in the final. I don't know, the AP poll or whatever it was. Like, what are we doing here? Like this, if you ever want this thing to ever be taken serious again, how are you? Right. What are you talking about? Like, you're right. Doesn't mean it should go away, or honestly, but yeah, that's just 24 is idiotic. It's a non-starter for me. Like, it just a dozen is fine, right? I mean, 16, okay, fine. That's
the way it's going. I don't believe if you made it, even if you make it, even sitting at 12, I don't believe anyone ranked. Well, no, Miami almost did. They were 10. So I was going to say, I don't think anyone ranked less than, outside the top 10 will ever win it. And I kind of still believe that. I mean, Miami's 10. Ohio State was an 8 last year.
But this is
won it.
Right.
But you go to 24. Yeah, I just don't think anyone outside of anything outside of the 10 or 12 is ever going to win the national title. I don't think teams lower than that have a chance to. They just don't have there are going to be multiple losses, 2, 3 losses, 3 losses. The further down you go, 4 losses. Those teams just don't have the horses, manpower. There'll be injuries, all that is, and number 24 will be like, will never ever win it, ever. Not in football.
Literally, it's like the 16 seed winning a title.
Yeah,
they've won a couple games ever. Right. It's not going to happen. It's just a waste of time. It's not interesting. It's basically going to end up looking like a regular who gives a shit bowl game that no one's going to pay much attention to because it's going to be watered down. It's going to be like watching, Tennessee play Tennessee Tech or whatever. Like, it's going to become a game like we know it's going to look like. Who cares? Whatever. And we move on to the next game.
I would argue a 16 seed in the NCAA tournament is way closer to winning a national title than a 24 seed in the college football playoff would be to win a national title. That gap is way wider on the football side than the 16 seed on the basketball side.
Right. That's exactly right. And it's just trying to grab another dollar or two, and they just can't help themselves, and they just going to have to, like, it's just stop it. You're already milking every dollar you can out of Big Ten fans with NBC and Peacock, and you got CBS, you got Fox, and you got FS1, and it's just Prime. Well, does the NFL stuff on Prime, but like, you just have to have pay so many services to watch these games. I mean, at some point, would it be crazy if there was like a college football ticket, like there's an NFL Sunday ticket, college football Saturday ticket? You have to buy this.
That's on the way.
I mean, like,
I don't know if you're halfway joking or not, Delaney, but that's on the way, in my opinion.
I'm not. I'm surprised we're not there yet. Like that. I mean, so here's the thing, though. You and I are going to pay for that. We're going to buy that.
Yeah, we are.
If that's $1,000, I'm figuring that out. I'm going to watch my card because I can watch every game. Here's my card. Yeah.
Here's my card.
When's the billing cycle? Can I make payments on this?
Can I put this on Klarna payments?
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly right. I'll pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll pay.
Right.
So
I'll pay for that before I'll buy groceries and shit. Right. Like this.
For sure.
It's a drug for us.
Right.
So I mean, but I don't think it's crazy. I mean, well, hell, we might as well because you got to pay for YouTube TV so you can have that, and then or whatever you want. Then you got to pay for Peacock, and then you got to make sure you have Fox and CBS, and yeah, this is Big Ten Plus, Big Ten Network. Like, dude, like it's challenging to find games. Some people are just like the hell with it. If it's not on my TV when I turn it on, I don't care that much.
I
I,
think
I,
it'll be an
I
app.
don't know. Like that would never be us, but an app, yeah, right.
I think it'll end up going to be an app like NCAA, whatever it is, and there'll be an app, and you pay for the app, and you pay monthly for the app, and you go in there and you pull up your app and you stream that to whatever TV you want to stream it to. That's probably what it'll be, and then
Sure.
you could split screen or however, and then the playoff will be like on like college basketball is. You college basketball when the NCAA tournament's going on, it's on like
Yeah,
6, 8 different channels.
it's
It's
that.
on True
Yeah,
TV and TBS and
CBS,
CBS and
TNT, True
TNT. Yeah,
TNT, and
all the things. And that's what the football will
which
probably be at the end
I'm
of the year.
okay with. I'm some okay with that
I'm
because think about when we were kids and growing up in the last few years, we didn't see every
regional.
game. We
Yep, you
saw
got the
like
regional
we're gonna
game.
watch the Duke game, the regional game, whatever it is, like in the
Yep.
'90s. And now we're like, shit, I can watch any game. I can watch 8, 9 teams if I want because it's available.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yep.
that's
It's
good in
better
some
now.
ways.
It's better
It's
now.
just
That.
different. It's better. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. It is better, absolutely. So not all these things are bad. Like, like we talk about NIL, which I think is good, generally speaking. The idea is good. It needs to be kind of molded and formed a little better so it's not just this mushy, mysterious thing that's all over the place and causing lawsuits and hard feelings. And are you going to come back to school here? You're going to go back to school there?
Right.
Locker rooms divided. That's the problem that these teams are going to fight. Figure it out. It's like you got kids that are fighting over who makes more, and your locker room culture sucks. And how are you going to fix that? You can't pay everybody the same. Like, just
Nope.
unless you want to not compete, you're going to have to pay Bryce Underwood more than you pay
The
the
center,
third string
the
corner.
backup center, or the third string
Sorry,
corner.
that's
Right.
just what it
Exactly.
is,
Yes,
right?
that is.
So it's just it's a thing that's going to be figured out. I think the idea is good. These kids should be making money more than just $1,000 a month or whatever it was they are getting for a stipend. Um, but it's
I don't.
yeah, and with the
I
portal,
don't.
like that one other thing I say is that the our comparison also has to stop pre NIL and also pre post portal, right? That is a huge thing as well, and where teams have really just filled gaps and like this, like they're not waiting a year to play. They're coming in the spring, some spring, getting acclimated, going through summer, going through fall, and Mendoza is your quarterback, and he wins you a title. Like the 4 5 year guys that you recruit, and you got another kid's a 5 star ahead of him or behind him. All right, see you later. Better find some quarterback depth somewhere else, because your backup quarterback's gonna be like a backup in the NFL, just a guy that can hold a clipboard and take a few handoffs and make a few handoffs if
Right.
need be, because you're not going to be stacking guys
There's
like
way
Tua
more
and Jalen Hurts
cons.
together. And
Yeah, that's never going to happen again. There's way more cons now to the
mm-mm.
portal than there is positives. Another con that I've seen, and I was talking about with some friends today. The days are over of being attached to a player. Now, it used to be whenever someone
Yes.
would enroll at your school, he would start off on scout team, second string, special teams, work his way up,
Yep.
be a starter his junior, senior year. And you fell in love with him because you've seen him grow up, like your kids. You've seen him grow up,
Yes.
and now he's doing good. He has molded himself, and he's worked his ass off, and he's become a first round draft pick or a first day draft pick or a second round, whatever. And you remember him
Yep.
whenever he was getting smoked against Chattanooga, and you see him work
Yes.
his way. And
Right.
I've seen that.
Exactly.
You've seen that at Michigan. I've seen it at Tennessee countless times.
Absolutely.
Kids come in. That
Absolutely.
kid's going to be good. He puts in the work. He's going to be good. You see flashes, and then he becomes what he becomes, and then he leaves, and you're like, you buy the jersey. You won't dare buy a jersey now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a college football fan,
Well,
you
that'd be
cannot buy
nuts.
jerseys. You can't buy them anymore with the names in the back.
No.
You can't.
No.
Those days are over. You can't
right.
do it.
You can just donate the
It's
money if that's what you want to do.
right.
You're not.
And I said Joey Aguilar for Tennessee this year was great, and I was
Hmm.
not emotionally attached to that kid whatsoever. I was not, and it's
No,
hard to get
right.
emotionally
No,
attached and invested in these kids if you don't see them for years. You can't see them for a year, and they
right.
leave, and you be attached to them and like, dang, I'm gonna miss him, man. I remember when he blah blah
Right.
blah blah blah
Well,
blah 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 when he was a freshman, or when you remember when he
right.
was a sophomore playing Georgia and he blocked that punt. Man, that was those stories are not.
Right.
They're going to go
Right.
less and less. You're not going to hear them anymore because you can't get attached to them
No.
anymore because they're just gone. I was attached to, and we almost lost him, Arian Carter. Now he came in, freshman, worked his way
Hmm.
up. Hell of a linebacker this year. Had turf toe, so he wasn't at his best. Enters the draft,
Yeah.
then comes back from the draft and says that I'm going to hit the portal. I only got so many hours
Yes.
left. I want to finish my degree. And I'm like, damn, dude, how you just
Yes.
be at a school for 3 years and then just decide, you know what, I'm going to go finish my college somewhere else and get
Isn't it?
paid somewhere else to play. He was linked to A
So,
and M. He was linked to Alabama, and then at the end he's
okay.
like, you know what, I'm a VFL. Damn it, I'm going back to Tennessee. Pay me. I want to play for Knowles and those guys who, by the way, Tennessee has one hell of hell of a portal class coming in on defense. They've done very
Yes.
well on that side of the ball.
Yes, they do. Good grief.
But
Needed.
getting
Yeah.
him back now just makes it better. And now you're like, damn, I would go buy an Arian Carter jersey, right? That's when I would buy.
Yes. Right.
I wanted to
Yeah.
buy a Jordan Ross
I think
jersey,
you could go
but then
back
he
even
just
further.
bails. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
silly, right?
right,
I think you could go back further because you and I, and not, I don't know, you're a college football fan. A lot of people just watch the games, sport, or whatever. But we're sickos who follow college football recruiting too. Like we know these kids. We've heard about they're getting offered when they're freshman, sophomore, and you go
right,
back at least 20, 25, 30. I started following recruiting heavily back in early '90s when you could get like the Michigan Wolverines, a newspaper that came like quarterly, and that was like that's where all let's do.
right.
Oh, look at this recruit we got here, that kind of thing. It wasn't the internet kind of thing. Crazy, I know, folks. Now, like it's harder to stay attached, even when you keep an eye on these kids that are recruited as a junior in high school, commit as a junior in high school,
Means nothing
because
anymore.
hell, they could. First of all, they may not make it to the class; they may end up
Right.
somewhere else, and two, they may not make it past their freshman year. Hell, there's a kid that you know too well, the kid, so let's say Moa kid that was committed to Tennessee,
Yep.
backed out, went to Utah. I don't know if you know,
Yep.
he's at
Uh
Michigan
huh.
now.
Yes. Yeah. He left. He
He's at
left with
Michigan, so he was enrolled at
yeah.
Utah for a week. He left with basically his uncle there, his running back coach and whatever, so recruiter. But like you had the kid enrolled for school for a week, and he transferred already. Like that's just wild.
Duke
You
suing
you
their
got
quarterback.
excited because this kid has elite talent. Yeah, exactly. They're just so now that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out because
Mm-hmm.
they're I guess Duke lawyers know what they're doing the way they worded this
I would
stuff, and
imagine.
they weren't pointing out to Miami. This is not Miami, and this could be this team in the South. It's wears orange, white, and green, but you know.
Yeah. They're somewhere around Dade
But I
County.
just right, exactly, right, exactly. Well, it's also like the kid from Washington, the Williams kid, like
Mm-hmm.
who's signs one day and the next day he's like, no, I'm off to Miami. I'm the portal to Miami. Well, that's weird. This is going to be a problem for you. So worked it out. Now the kid's coming back, staying at Washington. Well, what's that locker room
His
going to be
agent
like?
left.
Did he not want to be there?
Even his agent was
His
like,
agent is even
"Fuck
like,
this,
sorry,
I'm
kid.
out."
Sorry, kid. I ain't doing this. I get involved. This is beyond what I want to deal with. Right. And
Yes,
he's probably taking 5-10%. So he's
right.
turning a lot of the money down because that was like a $6 million investment, whatever. But it's really interesting that because I saw, and we're kind of all over the place with recruiting and stuff, but we covered the game, we saw the game, but this is the opportunity to talk a little bit of, portal stuff and
We
whatever.
could
But
do a whole show on this.
the, well, exactly right. So we're an hour and 10 in. We can do a few more minutes and we'll wrap it up, and we can come back to this. But like the one thing I saw, which I'm only saying this now because this, by the time we do another show, this will be settled probably, or maybe this Duke thing. There was someone on X, Twitter, or whatever, had in theory, what the proposal from Miami was going to be. It's like a $10 million pay out. They're going to pay out the Duke fines. They're going to have a condo in some sort of condo in South Beach or something like that. It was like very specific things, and all this came out about 2 hours or so before he informed Manny Diaz he's want to leave, and then like
Yep.
an hour later he puts it on Twitter, and then it's like this timeline is what I was saying about the Duke lawyers and put together is like this timeline is easy. Whoever it is, Miami, whomever, they got some explaining to do, and so I just wonder how this plays out, and I don't think it's gonna be the last time we see something like this, which is why they
Nope.
need to rein it in, figure out how to make this not a problem every year all the time, because this is just not sustainable, right? It's not this is not where it's fun. This is like, this is ugly. It's not fun. It's not interesting. I can't get in touch with this kid. I can't Tom Brady, the first time he threw a pass at Michigan, he threw an interception, a pick six against UCLA in 1996. Well, 4 years later, this kid's beating
Turned out
Alabama in
pretty
the
good.
Orange Bowl, and then it comes to the
Turned
greatest
out pretty
quarterback of all
good.
time. Like, that was kind
Yep.
of to play off what you said earlier. You can't get attached to these kids. There's not going to be those kinds of things like that. Or very rarely, right, that we were going to see those kinds of things. Mendoza's great. He's not even been on the campus in Bloomington for a year, right? He came in the
Right.
summer or maybe late spring. He's not even been on campus for a year. Like, it's like a rent a player, which is it's kind
Exactly
of
what it
worse than NFL
is.
because at least NFL guys, they're going to be there 3 or 4 years. You're going to be there for
Yeah.
3 or 4 years, right? An NFL player, maybe 10
That's
years,
a
whatever,
great way to
if they're
put
really
it.
good,
Rent a
It's just
player. That's a great way to
rent
put
a
it.
player, and
Yeah.
it's nothing more anything but that, honestly, for some of these things, like especially the quarterback position, year to year. Like, you're gonna have I expect Bryce Underwood to be at Michigan for 4 years? Probably not. I mean,
Hold your breath.
if he's good
Yeah.
enough, he's only going to stay there 3 years anyway. They got him next year. Let's just start with 2026 season. That's figure about the rest of it. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because the money's
Yeah.
going up and up. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Michigan ain't going to be outbid by anyone, but that in the end of the day, that may not mean anything to Bryce Underwood. He
Oh,
may want a condo on South Beach. Michigan can offer a condo on
yes,
South
and
Beach. He may want to go
no,
to the
they
beach
cannot.
and hang
Right?
out with hang out Little Havana and all the Latino chicks that are running around.
Yes.
Michigan can offer
So-
that, and Michigan don't have
right.
that. And
No, they
so
cannot.
if
They,
he decides he
they do
want to
not
go hang
have.
out
They
in
do
L.A.
not
with the
have
movie stars,
the Hollywood. I was going to say the
right?
Hollywood. They don't have Hollywood,
Yes.
right? It's
So
1 degree in Ann Arbor, Michigan right now.
yeah,
One. It's not 1 degree in Miami or LA right now. I'm pretty sure of that without
no,
looking at the
it's well north
Weather
of that.
Channel. I can tell. I can pretty much make a guess. Right? Exactly. And I also anticipate that there's more interesting things to see in Miami and
Yes,
culture and things. Ann Arbor is a great place to
certain of
play.
that.
We're rated one of the top cities to live in your life. But it's not LA. It's not, you know, pick your other team. It's not Syracuse, but it's not LA. It's not
No,
Cuba or Little Havana. Like it's not any of those things. Um, it's not Austin, Texas.
nope,
It's
not
not
Baton Rouge,
Baton Rouge
Louisiana.
where you could get elite quarterback play. Now, Baton Rouge is maybe not exactly glitzy
If you like
grammar,
corn
but now if you
dogs,
got
maybe they
elite
can offer you
quarterback
corn
coach,
dogs.
if you like corn,
If you like corn dogs, maybe you want to go
they
down
could
there.
do that.
Just
That's a good
saying.
idea. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. All right, I stand corrected. Yes. Different. It's just different. It's okay. I'm good with it because at least on Saturdays we can watch a more even playing field. How we get there with the portal and NIL and stuff, that's all like it's
It has
important,
done that.
but it's noise. It's like 3 hours, noon to 3, or whatever it is on Saturday when you're watching your team play. It's still football with a few new rule variations here and there, but like you still get to see them play. It's all the other stuff that's like, ugh,
Right.
well, okay. So like the kid, like here's a perfect example. Like the Michigan and Tennessee. Michigan takes the two Metcalf kids from Arkansas. One of them had a nice years and a good nickel. You're gonna like him.
Right.
He and his brother transferred to Tennessee. Like
Yeah.
it's just so funny. Like they're not even campus a year. And they're
Right.
just going to they're just,
You're
yeah,
not
I don't
even
like
attached
living
to
here. I'm
them.
gonna go somewhere else. Like that's
Yeah.
where they have to change. No, not at all. No, like he had a
No,
good
you're
year, but
not.
I'm like, Oh, I'll not remember that kid in 10 years, 5
Right.
years.
No,
I'm
you will
gonna
not.
remember Tom Brady the rest of my life, Anthony
Yes.
Thomas the rest of my life, right? You
Right.
know? I just Mike Hart, Chad Henne, like, all those guys that were there 4 or 5 years. One other thing that's gonna be interesting to look back on in a few years is, like, the COVID extra year, we got these guys that are grown men playing against
I'm
17 and
glad they're
18-year-olds,
cycling out
these
finally,
25,
man.
26-year-old guys.
I'm so glad they're
It's
finally going
almost
to
there.
cycle out.
I'm like, the NCAA just needs to stop that. I mean, that is what it is, but, like, you can't give, some kids that extra year, a 6th, 7th year, and not give it to, a
Right.
kid at Ole Miss. Like, what are we doing? Like, how do you justify this, right? Like, there's too many. It's like you get 5 years to play 5 or whatever it is. Like, just do something that's not having 27-year-olds. When's the
Well,
end then? Like, we'll just let
it
kids,
depends. It
come back
depends
and
on the
play?
judge they get in front of.
32.
And I seen someone today said,
That's
well,
true.
hell, if we're there's a G League NBA player going to suit up for the University of Alabama that played for the Lakers or Houston Rockets G League team. I forget who it was, who has been in the NBA, like NBA weight rooms, and everything for the last however many years. He played at Alabama, played in the G League because he didn't exhaust all
Yeah.
of his eligibility. Is going back to Alabama to play,
Oh,
and he
really?
starts Saturday night against Tennessee because of course he damn does. Well,
Of course, he'd
what
probably go for
what
30 and 20.
what if what if LeBron wanted to do that? He didn't play at all.
Why not, right?
Or
Literally,
Durant.
no, right? He
Durant
shall
only
have,
played 1 year.
uh, hell, go. Kevin Garnett was going to go to Michigan. I'd still take him right now.
So it's like
That'd be fun.
like you said,
Chris
when
Webber
you
left
open
early.
Pandora's box, it's open and there ain't no closing it. And that's one thing.
Oh,
How far are you going to go
man,
with
no
this?
shit.
You got a G leaguer come and John Calipari had a great rant about it. And I hate John Calipari as much as the next guy, but he was dead nuts on
Yeah,
the
but
money with that, talking about what are we
sometimes,
doing? You have G League NBA players coming? I
right,
mean, really? Is that what we're doing? Just going to bring NBA players
right,
back to play in college because they didn't exhaust their
right.
eligibility? What game are we playing, guys? And it,
Why? How does he even like come back around to be a thing that's like even logical? Like that's
I
actually
have no
happened.
idea.
Baylor's got a kid that enrolled mid-semester. That was, like, what do we? How did that happen? Like this is just like happening, and it wasn't on my radar, I guess, or I missed the memo that. Oh yeah, we're gonna let kids come back and to do this. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the joke, right? No, there's kids
Nope.
enrolling mid-year
He can go
and
to school
starting
if
to
he wants
play.
to. It's free
Yeah, they're
country.
gonna play after
Well,
3 practices or whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly,
No.
absolutely.
Oh, he
Okay.
will dominate. That
Where's
Alabama
the
guy
line
come back
drawn at?
from the NBA, that G League, from being in that weight room and learning those skills in the NBA for a couple of years will come back. He will absolutely annihilate us on Saturday night. And
There's
he
no
may
reason he
annihilate
shouldn't. You should
everybody.
expect that.
He may annihilate
Yes.
the
Right,
whole run of the
exactly,
mill. He
right.
may be above and beyond anyone can deal with in college the rest of the year and take Alabama all the way to the national championship, and then be like, well, you know, I guess this is what we're
It's
doing now. Then everyone
right.
will get G leaguers. Everyone's going to be
Yeah,
after them.
that's
Because why
okay.
wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? You should be all over that, like you're tampering with portal kids. Like, yes, you
Yep.
should be doing that. Even this, that
So
would be there's nothing illegal
it's
about
crazy, man.
calling these guys in the G League. So they gotta squash that. Some of this, 6th, 7th year seniors that are 25, 26 years old playing against Malachi Tony's 17 years old, whatever. Now he's different because he reclassified, but nevertheless, Bryce Underwood's barely 18. Those kind of guys like that. That's the difference, man. You're a grown adult
Right.
versus the kid who's trying to figure out, I don't know, who's my girlfriend? I don't even know if I like girls. Like, what am I doing? Like, there's so many things in your head, the hormones. Or, oh, look at this girl. I got to go to class with this. What class am I in today? That's not really a thing anymore as much anymore either,
No.
since that's academics is secondary. You don't have
And
to even
circling
step
that,
foot on campus. Just ask Justin Fields
right?
or
Yeah. Well, you can circle that right back around to Indiana.
Cardell Jones
Circle it.
said it perfectly. Absolutely right. Cardell
At
Jones, remember he
23
said,
years old is
"I
that
ain't here to
average?
play school. And
Right. No.
I'm like, well, he's right. You're right, I guess. It was like, holy cow, I can't believe you said that. It's real, but you have to go to class, right? And then you hear Carson Beck say, we heard it. I heard it. I'm like, maybe he just meant on the weekends. I'm in the football facility from 5 a.m. to whatever, 10 p.m. Well,
Right.
you go to class or not? No, I ain't gone to class for 2 years, he said.
I ain't
Like,
going to
come
class.
on, what are we doing? Like, let's not pretend these guys are student athletes. Stop saying student athletes. Stop having Chevrolet give away this best student athlete.
Right.
There's going to be a
You
few
can go
kids
and
that are like,
squash that too while
not
you're at it.
walk-ons because no one's really walk-on anymore, but the lowest paid player. Yeah, go ahead. You know what? Where you're not a walk-on, you're paid whatever it is, $10,000 compared to Bryce Millions, 10 millions. You $10,000. Yeah, you better make it to your chemistry class or your finance class because this ain't for you for 4 years. We thank you for getting the shit beat out of you on the scout team. You're a great kid, but you need to go to class. If you're Carson Beck, graduate in 3 years, play 3 years of no class and play football. Like, you should be Hall of Fame if that's all you're doing all day. Of course,
Yep.
maybe he would have been if he didn't have to get so distracted on South Beach, and I don't know, maybe he didn't stunted his growth going to play with Mario Cristobal in that offense. But no, he, like you said, he just who he is when he was a freshman. And by the time he
Yep.
left Georgia to where he is now, he's the same kid,
There's a reason why he
same
couldn't win the
quarterback,
job
same
over
adult now.
Stetson
Actually,
Bennett at
yeah.
Georgia. He didn't. He played behind Stetson Bennett for 2 national championship teams at Georgia. A walk-on, 5'0" Stetson Bennett, who the kid's a winner. I'll give him that. He's a winner. But you are a
Cut out a little
5-star
bit.
elite quarterback coming out of high school, and you couldn't overtake a walk-on to play quarterback at Georgia. Kirby Smart seen the same thing that everyone else in the country seen last night or Monday night. Was when the going gets tough, Carson Beck won't answer the bell. So, but
I think he's buffering a little.
I sent Carson Beck for Heisman
Yeah, I think that
next year.
All right, folks, this is the last review show. We did our last preview show the other day. This is our last review show of the 2025-26 college football season. That's it. We have lots more to talk about. As you can see, we just spent the last 20-30 minutes talking about portal stuff, NIL stuff. We're just kind of scratching the surface. We'll get deeper into that. We'll touch on some NFL playoff stuff as well. So stay tuned to that. Yeah, it's been a great year. We've had so much fun, and we'll be looking forward to doing this again. Full-time college football talk. That's what we'll be. But summertime is a little slower. It's hard to find too many things to talk about unless there's some off the field crazy things, or maybe there'll be some like changes in NIL or portal things, which hopefully there is. That'll be something to talk about, and that'll be a positive thing, a positive change. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another show. We'll talk some college sports, talk some NFL stuff, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.